Hey there, everyone. It's Denise Salcedo. Welcome back to the channel. I'm very excited to introduce to you my guest for today. She is Ruthie Jay. Ruthie, it's nice to have you on. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing great, honestly. And I've been loving to talk. I've been so happy because this last couple of weeks, I've been able to bring on more independent wrestling talent onto the show, especially women. So it's been really cool to just see a bunch of different faces here on the channel. And you're going to get a really cool opportunity. You're going to be part of the big show, NWA 75th anniversary, and you're going to be part of the match. Tell us about that.
It's pretty exciting, honestly. I've never been to St. Louis. I've never been to Missouri, so it's gonna be cool to actually be there and to be part of something so amazing such as the NWA and it's the 75th anniversary. I couldn't ask for a better way to just go to St. Louis.
How did the opportunity come about for you?
So I recently got signed to NWA, which is a big deal. I'm very happy about that. So once I got signed, they were telling me, okay, these are the dates. We need you here for this, this, this. So one of the days that they did need me for was the event coming up in St. Louis.
How did it feel to get signed? When did this all happen?
So I got signed, I believe a month ago, just a month ago. It felt great. You just woke up. I woke up like 11 o'clock, almost afternoon. You get a phone call from talent agent saying, "We want you. Here's the contract. Look at it. See if you want us back." um, it felt amazing. Honestly, it felt like what you're doing matters. People are watching. People are taking notice. Like, and a company wants you to represent them. It felt amazing, especially when you just woke up to that.
Yeah, I was gonna say that's really awesome because for a lot of people, that's clearly the goal is to get signed someplace
Yeah.
and to be able to, have a steady, have some steady dates, have a steady, nice little work schedule. And so that's definitely something that people want. So congratulations on that, by the way. And I know you've only been wrestling for a couple of years. So were you expecting to be signed so soon?
No. I've only been wrestling for I believe 3 years now. I started training when I was 19. I'm 23 now, so I've been training since I was 19. I debuted at 20 years old, and my goal was to honestly start training before I turned 20, and I did that. And my goal after that was to get signed before I was 25, and here I am at 23 signed. So that was like another check mark way before, 2 years before I thought I could even get there.
Oh my God. Well, congratulations, because it's a lot better when you achieve your goals a lot sooner. You're like, yes, you know what? I'm going to aim even higher and keep going and keep,
Yes, exactly.
doing more and whatnot. So, talk to us about so far what the experience has been like with NWA now that you've signed for this month. Like, have you gotten have you gotten to do much yet?
Yeah, so far I've been at most of the events that they've had. Um, the backstage area is always professional, it's cool. I appreciate that so much. They make you feel so welcome. You don't really know that many people there, so it was very welcoming. That's one thing I'll say. It was very welcoming. You didn't feel out of place. You felt like you belonged. I felt like I belonged.
What do you want to bring to the NWA now that you're a signed talent?
I want to bring something. I know people say that a lot. I want to bring something new, but I want to bring something memorable, something that nobody's ever seen from NWA before. I am the first Haitian born female wrestler that was ever signed to NWA. I don't think they put that out there or anybody put that out there, but I am the first Haitian born female signed to NWA. So I honestly never made a big deal out of that because I never really noticed or like had a thought. I just a female on the roster. But I gotta think about who I am. I'm not just a female on the roster. I'm a different type of female. Like I said, first Haitian born, signed, NWA talent. That's I don't know if I'm the first female or male. Well, male. I don't think there's another male Haitian born talent, but I'm the first female Haitian born talent.
Man, that's so cool though, because already you get to be like, you know what, I'm the first this, I'm the first that. And to start, with something like that, I think that's
Yeah.
really cool and something to be excited about. And I know you say that's probably something that you didn't mention before, but I feel like, yeah, you definitely should like put it out there. Like, this is something that people need to know because obviously, we want to see more diversity just
Yeah.
across the board. And I think like anybody else will be like, oh my God, that's so inspiring. That's so cool. I
Yeah.
can be the first this, I can be the first that, or she's representing me. And so all of that goes a long way. Now, I do want to go ahead and rewind a little bit because you were talking about how you started training at 19 years old. How did you decide to, get involved into pro wrestling?
So I always watched it as a kid. I feel like everybody watched it growing up, but you grow out of it. At one point, it stops being cool. You start getting interested in boys or whatever the case may be. Go through puberty, life happens. Wrestling isn't important to you. But I always like watching it. Like I always enjoyed watching it. I always felt like it was something I wanted to do. And after I went to college for 2 years, I got my associates in arts. So after I went to college, I went to go get my bachelor's, the 4-year degree. I didn't enjoy it. I just thought I wanted to do something different with my life. And I had three choices that I thought of. It was either become a teacher, a substitute teacher, a stripper, or a wrestler.
They're all so different, Ruthie. They're all so different.
Those were the three choices that I had when I moved to Miami: stripper, wrestler, or teacher. And I always thought I would be a good wrestler. So I went down to Gangrel school in Dania Beach after being recommended by my sister. She found it for me, and fortunately she did. And I started training there at 19, and I never looked back. I still train with Gangrel to this day.
Oh my God. Do you ever think about that? Like you could have gone an entirely different direction. Like you could have
Yes.
gone, the direction of, wanting to be a substitute teacher, which is totally different from also, doing stripping, which is totally different from being a wrestler. Do you ever imagine like how different your life would be if you would have pursued any of these other avenues?
I I do. Like I always thought my life would be so different, especially if I was a stripper. I was like, I feel like my life would be so different. Like my morals would be different. The way I look at life would be different. The way I think would be different. The money I make would be different. Everything in my life would be different.
What was it about stripping that made you consider it?
The money.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I feel like
The
that's the
money.
obvious. That's the obvious, right?
It was the money. Like and plus I've danced for 7 years. So I'm flexible. I can dance. Like I already had that aspect. Like that was already one of my attributes, and that's also something that helps with my wrestling, which is oddly enough because wrestling is like violent dancing. Um, but yeah, the money. I already knew how to dance, and I'm a pretty girl. I have a nice body. Why not? Why not?
Oh my God, I love how upfront you are about it. You're like, this is something that I was considering. This is why I was considering it. And, this is the direction that I was going. But it's so wild to me also because you also had substitute teacher and it's so different, right?
Yeah.
And that's such a, I would, you're not going to, for the most part, get injured while you're, teaching a class. I mean,
You
probably
would think,
could if
but
you
the
trip.
scares me, so I don't know.
So why did you decide not to continue pursuing teaching?
I did tutoring for a while, so I tutored kids, high school kids, one on one, because one, I was too close to their age. They would not respect me. They would not respect me, especially a substitute teacher. Who respects the substitute teacher? Nobody respects the substitute teacher. One, I'm too close to their age. I know even with little kids, maybe because I'm not that close to their age, maybe kindergarten to like you know, fifth grade, maybe, but they're annoying. They're so annoying. Like they're little kids. And then middle school, they're just bad. And I'm too close to their age. I'm too close to their age. I had my associate's degree at 19 years old. So I was able to do that job like at 19, like I said, like I graduated early. So I already had that degree at 19. So I was too close to their age to like be taken seriously. Even though I'm smart, I know the schoolwork, I know the fundamentals, they would not take me seriously. I already know that. And if it was a boy, they would definitely not take me seriously.
Man, I get you. I honestly get where you're coming from with that because I think a lot of your reasonings were definitely valid, but I love it. It's just so wild, like to be all of these different options that you could have gone through. So, anyway, so you choose wrestling, you're doing wrestling, and at any point, did you ever regret your choice?
There was never a point where I regret my choice. I spent like almost $3,000 learning to train how to be a wrestler, so I felt like there was no going back. So if I did this, I would do this to either be a career, which it is, or because I love it, which I do. So I never regretted because I spent the money on it. If I say I ever regret it, I'm lying because I would have never. I don't even spend that much kind of money on my day to day life. You get what I'm saying? But to put that money out there to do something that's not even like the traditional school, that means you really wanted it.
That definitely is. I mean, $3,000 is no joke, okay? No joke at all. Now, I know that you've trained with Gangrail. Tell us about what the training has been like with him and his specific school and what that experience was like.
Top. Gangrel. I love that man. I spoke to him earlier today, actually. I was just on FaceTime with him. I love that man. Best thing that probably ever happened to me in my life. But like at first, me and him were just bumping heads. Like I couldn't understand him. He couldn't understand me. We were just on two different playing fields. But you know, I was coachable. Because I danced for so long, and with dance, you have to be very coachable. You have to be able to take critique. So he saw that I was coachable. At least there was that because I told him my background in dance. So he did see some potential in me, and he found the patience to deal with me, and I found the patience, not the patience, but I found the humility to like deal with him and like, okay, if this is what I want, this is how it is, because he's a hardball. Like he's a tough man. Like, but that's how it is. That's how you're gonna learn. If your coach isn't tough on you, you're never gonna learn.
I always feel like that. Like I've always, when it comes to teachers of any sort, I feel like the meaner, the stricter, in a way, they kind of end up being like the better teachers. I feel like that's what I've come to learn. And so, you were talking earlier about how you grew up a pro wrestling fan, and I get it. You go in and you go out of it. But when you were growing up watching, for you, who were the people that you were like, I'm such a big fan of this person? Like these are the people that I really love and admire.
I had a top like five, I believe. It was Jericho, Angle. What's my cat doing? Jericho, Angle, Trish Stratus, Rey Mysterio, and Eddie Guerrero. Those were like my top five. Like growing up watching them all the time, it was just amazing. Of course, John Cena was always around, but he was never like my top five. Like I'm like infatuated with him because he was always, the most popular person. He will always be around. But for you to look at somebody else besides the most popular person there, those were my top five.
Have you gotten a chance to meet any of your top five yet?
Trish. I met Trish.
What was that like?
She called me pretty, so that was great. I met her when I was 18, like a year before I even started training. I met her at SuperCon in Fort Lauderdale. She told me the first thing I had to do was find a wrestling school. She asked me if I was athletic. I told her yes. She was just like, "Yeah, get into a wrestling school. You look like you're athletic, so that's good." Like she called me pretty, like I said, and like she was just very encouraging, very nice. Like I also met Rey Mysterio at the same SuperCon, which is crazy. I forget because like I got to speak to Trish more, so that's really what was like in my mind. But I also got to meet and take a picture with Rey Mysterio. Bro, I'm taller than Rey Mysterio.
You're like, oh my God.
Yeah. But I got to meet Rey Mysterio as well at the very same event.
So when okay, first of all, Trish Stratus calls you pretty. I can only imagine like that day you're walking around, chin held high. Like if Trish Stratus is out here complimenting you, like it would be like a thing where you're like, that's it, I'm the baddest, biatch here. Like that's how I would feel. Like that's how I would feel.
Like I was the baddest before.
Exactly. That should be like a thing like Trish called me pretty, that should be like that is awesome. Okay, so you also have had some pretty cool opportunities. We were talking earlier about you signing with the NWA, but you also did get to have a match against Sky Blue on AEW Dark. Can you tell us about that? That was I know that was last year, but tell us about that.
Yeah, that was last Yeah, last February. It was fun. It was actually pretty like fun to be at Universal and everything. Only I would get on the wrong bus to get to Universal. Yeah, true story. I get on the wrong bus. Like they told me the bus with all the people was the bus in the front. So I go to the bus in the front, but it was the group of people that were families, people
Oh.
that were wrestlers. So the group of people that were wrestlers were in the bus in the back. So I literally get on the completely wrong bus, but it was still going to Universal. But I end up getting to the front of Universal, and the studio is all the way in the back. So here I am at Universal with my bag, no ticket, at the front with all these families trying to get to the back of the studio, trying to get to my wrestling event. Luckily, I told a security guard I'm a wrestler. I've just gotten the wrong bus, and they believed me, which is crazy because
Because
I
they
could have
never
lied.
do. They always make
Which
you
is
go
crazy
like
because
all
I could have been lying,
around.
but I wasn't clearly. But I told him, he believed me, and he got me to where I needed to get to. But I was just like, only I would get on the wrong bus, you know. Other than that happening, getting backstage, everybody was chill, minding their business. It was like they were eating, chilling, talking, like, or you were just in there having a match. Working with Sky was cool. Like, my agent was Christopher Daniels, and it was really cool to meet him because I was a big fan of him growing up, like watching him. And he was my agent for the match, so he was able to like guide us through the moves and how to get through the match. Everything went super smooth.
I was gonna say that's a pretty cool experience, especially also getting to have your, have to get to work with Christopher Daniels. Like that must have been pretty fun as well. And getting that opportunity to perform in front of a crowd like that, were you nervous? What were your emotions?
I was very nervous. I was still pretty green, like still new. I'm still new, but back then I was newer, so it was very nerve wracking, and my top kept coming like undone. It was like I didn't want a nip slip. I didn't want my boots to come out, so it was kind of nerve wracking because it's like you don't want a nip slip, and this is your first time in front of a major crowd, so it was very nerve wracking. But as soon as I got there, I just went with the flow, and I went through the motions, and that's how I knew I was still green, still new, because I wasn't myself. I was just going through the motions. I didn't show my personality. I was just going through the motions because I was so focused on not getting it wrong.
I get what you mean, like focusing in on the moves and what you were supposed to do
Yeah, it
versus like,
wasn't me out there. It was not
yeah.
me. It was a robot. Like,
Did
but
anybody give you any sort of like feedback on that? Like, did they pick
yeah,
up
they
on
told me
that?
the same thing. Like, show out more, show more of your personality. You just, did the moves. Nothing that I did was wrong, but it just didn't stand out.
Right, right. I get it. And how do you feel you've like, because that was last year and so much time has gone by. How do you feel you've grown since then?
I feel like I've grown as a performer all around. Like I don't let not little things. I don't let things phase me as much. Like now, I feel like I'm more comfortable to be like, okay, this is what I'm doing. That's what I'm doing. I just have to add my own little flair to it. I'm not so focused on what I'm doing to get it right anymore because I know that I can do it. I just got to do it.
I love that. You just got to do it. Okay, so I know you're still training with Gangrail. You're signed to the NWA now. You've had some pretty cool opportunities. You're only 23 years old, which is just like mind blowing because you've already, you've pretty much sped up the process. Here is what I'm saying. You've sped up the process. So for you, talk to us about some of your goals that you have within not just pro wrestling, but maybe even outside of wrestling.
One of my goals, I would say outside of wrestling, is to like start a real family. You know, I know like some people don't think that's a goal, but that is a goal because anybody can have children. Anybody can have a house, but nobody really has something like that's family. You know, I want to be like, I want to be that grandparent that says, if it wasn't for me, you guys wouldn't be here. I put this whole family on my back. I want to be that grandparent because I wasn't born in this country, So for me to have all these opportunities and stuff, like my family tree is gonna be based in America, so I want it to be something that I'm proud of. So that's a goal that I have, to have like a family here that's well off, because my child is going to be a first generation American.
So I do want to take a second because you have no idea how many times, I like to ask this question to all my guests because everybody's going to have a different answer. You are the first person who's ever given me that answer. And I got to tell you, it took me aback a little bit. But when you explained your reasonings, I'm like, yeah, it all makes sense. Like for you to build a family here. And it got me thinking, like your family, I'm assuming they're back home. If they are, like, how do they feel seeing you come out here and shine?
Well, honestly, I don't have that much family here. I was born in Haiti, but I'm half Dominican, so they're like on both sides of the island. Because the whole island is called Hispaniola. A lot of people don't know that, which is crazy. But yeah, I the only family that I have here is my immediate family, which is my mom, my dad, and my sister. So those are the only three people. I don't have any aunties or cousins here. So like that's my only like support of family that I have here.
Oh, I love that though. I love that you have your mom, you have your dad. Like that's, that's, almost like the most important part though. But I know that you want to see, some of your other family, of
Yeah.
course, who wouldn't want that. So it is cool to see them, how are they in terms of like the support factor?
My mom at first, she was like, "Are you crazy? Does this make you any money? What are you doing?" She's very traditional. She's a Dominican woman, like very traditional. If you're not a doctor, a lawyer, then you're not doing anything with your life. Which is crazy because my sister is a lawyer, so there's a lot of pressure there. She's my older sister. Um, yeah. So she was just like, "What are you doing? Your sister's over here a lawyer. What are you doing? What are you doing? Does this make you any money?" Like but after a while, after I started showing her like, hey, I'm really good at this and I'm getting a fan base, she just like, does it make you any money? I'm like, it's gonna come. But she's happy that I'm doing something that makes me happy. It's just the financial aspect she's always gonna be concerned about because she wants me to be, you know, taken care of. Like this is a country that she literally stepped foot for to make a better opportunity for us. So it's like she doesn't want me to be like steering in the wrong direction. Ever since I told her I got signed to NWA, she's lightened up. She's been happy because like now it's more opportunities for me to make that money she wants. So, but it's not about money for me, which is like, well, it is, yes, because I still need to live, but my career isn't all about money. So I know in her heart she's happy that I'm doing what I love, but now she's happier because she's seeing the progress.
Yeah, I was gonna say I don't blame your mom at all. I get it. Like if I wasn't a wrestling fan, if I didn't know about wrestling and my daughter was like, "Hey, I want to be a wrestler," I'd be like, "The fuck you ain't. You're not gonna be a wrestler,"
Right.
Because that's like the outsider's perspective. Like you're not going to expect them to become a professional wrestler. Like that's kind of insane if you're not like within the like if you're not like a fan or like know about it, right? And then like
Exactly.
yeah, in a way, it's your sister's a lawyer, and I feel like older, whoever the firstborn child always tends to be the most, ready, going, go getter type of person. So I feel like, if you are sort of do you feel like you're sort of, you had to break out of that shadow and not always be compared to your older sibling?
All the time, of course. Right now, my sister is a lawyer with the house, a white picket fence with the two children and the husband. She's literally living the American dream right now. And here
Man.
I'm in an apartment with no boyfriend and a cat. Rest. Ah!
You're like, hey, you are the modern woman. But I get it though. I get it because, as siblings, you can be very different. And it's so crazy to see how like what position you born in kind of impacts your personality and how you pursue things because I see it all the time in all sets of families. The oldest son, the oldest daughter are always the ones that are like go 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 and doing this and that, but I still feel that doesn't make any other person's path wrong or incorrect. It's just different.
Oh yeah, for sure. You're very, very different.
Oh my gosh. Well, that's awesome, Ruthie. You're doing it. You're killing it. I love your personality too. I feel like even just in these 20 minutes that we talked, I learned so much about you. Before we go, please tell the people where they can watch you, where they can watch you wrestle, where they can support you, all of that good stuff.
So if you want to find me on social media, my Instagram is Ruthie_all_smiles. It should say Ruthie Jay. If you want to find me on Twitter, it's at Superior Queen with a W, QWEEN. On Facebook, it's also Ruthie J. On Patreon, it's patreon.com/Ruthie_J.
Perfect. I'm going to post all of the links to that in the description box below so you guys can go and follow Ruthie. Thank you guys so much for tuning in, and we'll see you guys next time. As always, please do not forget to subscribe. And I'm Denise Salcedo. This is Ruthie J. We'll catch you next time. Bye, everyone.
Bye.